Good
morning. Thank you so much for coming here. My name is Sam. Firstly, I want to thank Noble Gateway for hosting this, and most importantly to Rotary Club of Bukit Bintang and the other Rotary Clubs who have sponsored for this entire class. This is actually our second class. So originally, if you notice around you, the class is rather huge. But in the first class, there was 20 people, and we had a lot of repeat students over here because earlier I conducted the class in Cantonese and it wasn't very good, okay, because Cantonese is not my forte, so today I'll be speaking English, but don't worry because we have a microbiologist over here who speaks both Cantonese and Chinese and also English. So first and foremost, I want to introduce myself. My name is Samantha. This is my friend Wilson.
Hi.
And you are here right now in Noble Gateway. The toilet is at the back. So if anyone wants to go to the toilet, you can proceed behind, and lunch and beverages would be served around 12 or 12:30. If you are thirsty and if you need a drink, we have a water dispenser right behind there. So without further ado, I think let's start our first class. First and foremost, I want to know how many of you here have your own garden at home, because this is okay, very good. Okay, I see a lot of hands. Wonderful. Thank you for coming. Just an introduction to you, what class we are having here today is regenerative agriculture on a household level. So just to walk you through what we are going to study today is the theoretical principles of regenerative agriculture. Tomorrow we'll focus more on the practical class, right? So I want to ask all of you here, what is your idea of a perfect world? Anyone? 你们完美的世界是怎么样的？有的吃 ，OK？ 新鲜的空气 ，fresh air，OK？
只是吃要 healthy food.
Healthy food, okay? Very good answer. Some more? 快乐 happy, okay? Very good. Some more? What's your idea of a happy world?
Money.
Perfect world, money, okay? So based on everyone's answer over here, future, good nature, okay? I'm very happy to hear the answers today because it's going to lead into the next few things that we're going to talk about. So 我们听到的答案就是有的吃，有的活，有的开心 right? And then everything is balanced. When we say everything is balanced, it means that we do not consume more than what we have, and we do not purge out, 我们没有把我们不需要的东西丢掉 that is more than what the nature can consume. Today's theme will focus a lot on the idea of balance, but a lot of people don't know what is balance. So today we will learn about what is balance. Second question, what is your idea of a perfect food garden? 完美的菜园是怎么样的？没有农药的 ，Okay, very good answer. Organic, natural.
Not organic.
Not organic.
Natural.
Natural. I love your answer. Today we are right. Yes, agree. But today we will identify what the gentleman mentioned just now earlier, because we are going away from jargons. 好像你们现在在 market 听到的就是这个 organic or not， 这个泥土好不好 ？Is this a good soil? Is this a bad soil? This one the soil 用白色嘅，我唔愛用呢個 soil， 我愛掉咗佢。呢個我種乜嘢都種唔成嘅咧，我喺 supermarket 買喎，呢個 brand 唔好嘅喎，我就掉咗佢。呢個貴啲喎 ，A 7咧我買嘅我40套一個應該好好啩，買咗翻嚟唔識用，就咁一邊。So 今日我哋嘅課程 is to walk you through to give you an understanding of how your soil works together with your food and grow for you. And later, if you can see in the front, there are a lot of components of the soil which we will identify one by one. 嗰啲係乜嘢嚟嘅？跟住乜嘢究竟係 organic， 乜嘢究竟唔係 organic？ 點解出面嘅人真係喺嗰度講？呢個菜係 organic 嘅咧，不過我哋喺出面聽到人哋講。佢哋可以用90%organic， 10%唔係 organic 嘅喎，咁唔係 organic 就唔係好嘢咯。So we are here today to debunk all of this myth. So let's move on. Okay, I want you all to look at the TV TV right now, you see, this is the current supply food chain. This is how humans eat food right now. 呢個係我哋點樣食嘢嘅方法。You know， 依家 okay, we have been dealing with a lot of children. Okay， 我自己本身就去好多嗰啲 orphanage 啊、教書啊嗰啲嘢，所以我問佢哋，你哋畫隻雞出嚟俾我，佢哋咪畫雞嘅喎，佢哋畫 KFC 喎，佢哋都未見過雞係咪？所以我哋就好 OK， 點解依家嘅 generation 已經唔知道 food 係點樣 produce？ So before we go into how food is produced, we look at how we consume our food first. 依家 all our food 我哋係 from the farm。from 一個好大嘅 farm， 係咪 Cameron Highland 啊、Genting Highland 啊、乜嘢 Highland 啊、Australia grown tomato 乜嘢都係一個好大嘅 farm 嗰度 produce 晒我哋嘅雞，乜嘢 chicken、lacto chicken、pineapple chicken 都係一個 farm 嗰度出嚟嘅。跟住個 farm 我哋殺晒佢，就帶過去 packaging。喺呢個 packaging factory 入邊咧，就會發生好多嗰啲攞嗰個 plastic 嚟包啊咩啊嗰啲嘢咯，係咪？So from this packaging, it will move to distribution center。又係用一個 lorry 再過嚟呢度 distribution 喺邊度？就再到你去嘅 Tesco 啊、Aeon 啊、Jaya Grocer 啊嗰啲嘢咯。So that is where all our supermarkets are going to be, and then available into the market and then out from home. Now 你 imagine 下你自己買嘢食嗰陣時係咪 from 呢度到呢度？係咪好多 carbon footprint？ 你睇我 from 個 farm 嗰個雞 they package already, then they move there. Packaging itself is already a cost, right? Packaging is a plastic. That plastic has to end up somewhere someday. Now when driving the chickens and all your food, your vegetables and everything from the farm drive to the packaging center, that is also requiring a lot of diesel, petrol, releasing more carbon footprint.Carbon footprint, and all the way at the end， 再到你翻去屋企嗰陣時，你就覺得我今日又變啦，我今日又買啲變啦，我就唔使煮我個雞咯。Then go to waste。今日我嘅朋友有個啲，我去食個啲點啦，所以就冇煮到嗰個菜，就冇煮到嗰個雞。And then go to waste. So all of that process.That releases a lot of things into the environment that ends up going to waste and then generating all your landfill. What I'm trying to show you all here today is that, you see, you look at the environment around us, how the world exists is that every living thing lives off another creature's byproduct. What I'm saying is, 我哋食緊 nature 俾我哋嘅嘢 is a byproduct of something。我哋屙出嚟嘅嘢，嗰個屎 is also a food source for something else. That something else will also become food for something else. It is a balanced food chain. But you notice from this current way we are eating our food, the current way that food is produced, one thing is very apparent right now is that humans are producing a lot of byproducts that are not good for the environment. Humans are producing a lot of byproducts that other animals or plants cannot consume, and that is why we have a broken nutrient cycle. Humans have single-handedly broken the nutrient cycle of the environment. So, later after I explain this thing, then we will understand what is a nutrient cycle. Okay, so we have, so you can see the soil itself is actually supposed to produce food for us. But each time we build something on top, everything below dies. So everything below that is supposed to be able to process our human waste gets taken away. And then gradually, because we want to grow more and more food, just now when I asked you, what is your idea of a perfect garden? What is your idea of a perfect world? Yao dak sek. And it's because of this yao dak sek. I'm not saying that yao dak sek is wrong. It's just that the larger farmers want to take advantage of the yao dak sek, and they will use an excess of nutrients to grow the food. And this excess of nutrient, You have 你依家係倒緊多啲 nutrients 落去個 soil, but you don't have enough things inside the soil to process the nutrient, and therefore you have a broken nutrient cycle. So, moving on, in this slide, today we are actually going to learn how to restore nutrient cycle at home, because this is actually one of the most important things of growing our own food. When we say restoring the nutrient cycle at home, it means that you are also restoring the balance of your planet. By 2030, the planet will have 10 billion people. And if all 10 billion people learn how to compost and close the loop, we will be able to grow our own food without damaging the planet even more. And when we say balance, I learned something from my microbiology friend here today, is that, do you realize how when 我哋出面食嗰個菜啊，我哋 just 摘放落肚，我哋會肚屙嘅喎。You know, our stomach can process the food that we eat wonderfully with no problem at all, and if it's organic. And I learned from him that our stomach, the microbiology in our stomach is more or less the same as the microbiology in the soil. Do you know that 80% of your food digestion is because of the 肚入邊嘅菌? It's not because of your intestine what acid, no. It's 80% of the digestion work done by the microbes inside your body. And if that is the case, most of the digestion should be done by microbes in the soil as well. And the nature and the ecosystem of our gut microbiology is also more or less the same as the ecosystem of the soil biology. And that is why it is very important to close the nutrient cycle today. So, okay, now I'm going to tell you one very interesting thing, that is, operating a garden is like running an empire. Operating a farm is like ruling a planet. I have in my hand here, this is called a biosphere. A biosphere is a science project that in school we teach children how to make one. What is inside this biosphere? In this biosphere I have pond water. 我河入邊嘅水，呢個係我啱啱出去執嘅。我啱啱攞呢個樽，我出去嗰個 biosphere 嗰度攞呢個執翻嚟，入邊你會睇到 algae. I will pass this water around and then you will notice one thing. There is water, there is algae, 青菜, and 入邊嗰個係叫水葫蘆 water flea. This is a very interesting thing that I want to tell you about today, because if this thing you put at your window, 呢樣嘢你放喺你個窗口嗰度, it can last for many months. 佢係唔會死嘅。The whole thing will still be alive. Why? Because you have sunlight, you have water, you have algae that uses sunlight to photosynthesize and uses sunlight to produce food for the 水葫蘆, the water flea. Water flea 食咗嗰個 algae, 佢會屙屎。佢屙咗嗰個屎, the sea will become the nutrient for the algae, and the algae will use the 力量 from the sunlight to produce more food, and the cycle will keep on continuing. It is a very simple science experiment to show balance. What is balance? If this thing have too many 水葫蘆 and not enough algae, the whole thing will die. If this thing have too many algae, not enough 水葫蘆 to eat the algae, it will die. If this thing don't put under the sunlight, it also will die. This thing got no water, it also will die. This is a very simple experiment to show how organisms work in this planet. So I'm going to start by passing around first. Over here, you all can look at the 水葫蘆 inside. So when we say operating a garden is like running an empire, why? Because in your garden you have a lot of organisms. When I say organisms, it means that living things. Living things, now I tell you, biodiversity is a very big word. First thing that comes to your mind when I say biodiversity is the mountain lah, the forest lah, the tiger, the butterfly, the bee, 我哋眼睇到嘅嘢，我哋眼睇到嘅我哋就講係 biodiversity. But biodiversity also happens with 我哋眼睇唔到嘅嘢。Microbiology 入邊水入邊嘅菌。soil 入邊嘅菌 fungi, bacteria, all of these things are also very important and a very important part of running your empire. All of these creatures have their own needs and their own wants. If you can fulfill their needs and wants, they will be able to produce the food for you. So you imagine, you running a garden like that, if you take care of everyone inside the garden, they will produce food for you because you are the king. And operating a farm is like ruining a planet because it gets more and more complex. There are a lot of components in running a sustainable regenerative farm. But today it's on a household level, so I will not bore you with the details of the big things. We'll just touch on the basics of regenerative agriculture. Okay, so the basic of vegetable gardening, we start with vegetable first because I don't want to touch on flowers and trees and everything, even though all of those, they have their science behind it. So we touch on vegetable gardening because vegetable is one of the most easy things to grow. Number one, vegetable is not the human or second. Number two, vegetable is mostly leafy greens. It should be very to deal with. So there is something very interesting in the soil that is, you see, to grow vegetables, we will need this particular thing called nitrate. Nitrate is massively produced in large quantities as fertilizers. That's why you have nitrate, NPK, and all of these things. But the most interesting thing is there is a type of gene, there is a type of bacteria in healthy soil that can convert the air that we breathe into nitrate. Because 79% of the air that we are breathing is actually nitrogen. But in soil that does not have, it's all of this 好菌 is basically useless. Plants have the magical ability, plants when they work together with the microbiology, they have the magical ability to create food for you out of thin air. And this is just one of the components. Now, we are just talking about nitrate, there are microbes inside the soil that can convert thin air into food for you. Now, and what about all the other 37 nutrients that we know about that is required to grow food for you? Traditionally, we think that to grow food, you need to buy nutrients to feed the plant, right? But then I can tell you today, if you do that, it's the equivalent of 俾嗰個 plant 吊水。你 imagine 你生咗一個 baby 出嚟，嗰個 baby 出嚟係食乜嘢嘅？佢係食人奶㗎嘛，係咪？跟住佢慢慢長大，佢就係食 more and more complex food. You don't need to feed the baby protein per protein, carbohydrate per carbohydrate. You let it eat complex food and the body will digest the complex food for you. And the same thing happens with vegetable gardening. So in vegetable gardening, you have a lot of components that's supposed to feed the plants, and the soil is actually formed by many factors, which we will learn of today. If you look into your slides, you can see that below the soil we have a lot of different microorganisms, which we will open the session with Wilson and I later for more and more questions to better understand, because this is actually just to set a precedent so that we can ask the correct questions later when we are sitting in front. You can see that there are different kind of microbes and earthworms, mites and everything, all of which will interact to produce food for the plants. And so because of this, because of the nature of how soil works together underneath, in a forest, the big trees will share nutrients with one another. The big trees will share nutrients with the small trees through a nutrient exchange network in fungi. So today we are going to talk about the misconception. This soil is bad, I will dump it out, I will buy better soil. This soil is only 2 ringgit. It's not good, I will throw it away. But after today's session, we want everyone here to know that, I can see that this soil that I have right now is lacking in XYZ. Means and based on your own understanding, you will also be able to understand what your soil is lacking and how you can further improve it. So, Organic nutrients. Okay, before I touch on organic nutrients, I want you to see the synthetic fertilizers. That is the use of synthetic fertilizers, are the crystal fertilizers and everything. Over time, right, if you use synthetic fertilizers, you actually cause the soil to degrade. So you can see over here, the soil is getting drier and drier because when you use synthetic fertilizers, you are actually training the plants to only consume the fertilizer and then you don't consume the other things. So the other things and everything die. It's just like 我哋人咁樣係咪？我哋一直坐喺嗰個咧，我哋一直坐住嗰個台睇電腦睇， and then when we as humans, if we don't use one part of the body, our body will eventually tell this part that you are useless and then this part will die. Correct or not? It's the same thing with plants. You are training the plant with synthetic fertilizers, you are training the plant to only rely on the fertilizer and not rely on the rest of the plants, and therefore everything dies. That is why we say that, oh, 我哋一直落肥料嗰個地回旋. This is one of the cause. Compared to if you use organic nutrients. Organic nutrients can come in many forms. If you continuously use organic nutrients, the idea of organic nutrients is not you feed the plants. It's you feed the whole system so that the whole system can feed your plants. So that is how it works. Wait, where's my press? 我放喺邊度咗？ I'm so sorry. Next. So this is a healthy soil checklist for home gardening, which before I move on to that, I want to ask if anyone has further questions so that we can come to the front and look at the things over here. 有乜嘢問題 that you want to ask? Any questions? From the floor? Okay, very good. If it's not too much trouble, may I invite all of you to stand up and I'll move to the center. You don't want to show them this? Move to the center. Okay, we will be moving this pile to the center so that everyone can see.
So I think here is better, right? They can around here.
Not too much space.
Go.
On the table?
No, on the floor.
Better on the floor.
On the floor.
Okay, I think everyone can just stand around. We don't have to make this like lecture hall or too formal. I'm also a bit scared. So I think I invite everyone to stand around and then like look at the things that we're actually seeing, right? So you can see over here that there are a lot of components inside the soil. First things first, we want to understand is that soil is made up of all of these things. It's not just 一嚿嘢. It's not just 一堆泥土. 呢個一堆泥土 if 你分出嚟，佢就係有呢啲咁樣嘅 component. 如果一堆泥土你分出嚟，你 understand 咗佢嘅 component, you can recreate it. For example, if it's in the forest, it will have all of these things. If it's in the mountains, it will also have all of these things. If it's in a very, very big and old forest, it will also have all of these things, even though in different composition. Means sometimes in the mountain, 呢個會比較多. Sometimes in the farm, 呢個會比較多. Sometimes in the other place, 嗰度又比較多, but it should have all of these components. Now let's look at individually, what are these components? Wilson, you want to come? Okay. So, 呢個係第一嘅 I want to show you all. This is actually 堆肥. That's why earlier I tell you all that the very important thing that you have to do at home, starting at home 就係堆肥. So 堆肥就係你食唔晒嗰啲 KFC 骨啊，乜嘢啊，食唔晒嗰啲菜啊，屎啊 and anything that is organic matter 你堆就係會變堆肥 and it looks like this. Okay, this one is clay. The one very interesting thing about clay is the third layer of soil on the planet. It means that clay will only come to the surface when you chop down enough trees. And that is why if you drive through any farm or anything, and if you see that 佢成幅地都係呢個顏色嘅，你就知道 it's a very very eroded soil. But this is still one of the components that is being used that has some of the important qualities 啦，係好難做嘅，但你要侵，你要侵。So if let's say 你個地係 majorly 呢個。We have some good news is because we know how to do it. 你哋摸下，你哋愛 if you are comfortable to touch the soil， 你係摸到佢係好緊要嘅。This is clear。係咯，好實係咯 ，yes， 好實淨，但都係乜嘢都做。And on the science level, it's actually quite damaging to the planet because 佢一濕係咪？佢入邊會成個 balloon 咁樣嘅，佢一濕咗佢會脹。It will expand and then it will kick up all the roots and then the roots cannot breathe and all of these things. And also when it's pure clay, the pH is at 3.5, it will start to release some toxin to your plants and everything. So that's why everything is out of balance, okay? This one, everybody know 咯，呢個係嗰啲死葉and everything. So all of this is actually we call brown material because it's brown color. Brown material, you need to have a healthy mix of brown material and the smelly things to create a healthy balanced compost. This one is sawdust, aged sawdust. Why I want to show you this aged sawdust is because number one is very popularly used in mushroom farming. Because something that is high in carbon will encourage mushroom growth. That's why you see in the forest all the Samantha and everything 佢哋就會有好多嗰啲 mushroom. Another interesting thing about this sawdust is also used in 馬場啊，嗰啲馬場個屎啊，你要 collect and everything。但係喺馬場咧，佢哋用嘅 sawdust， 佢哋用嘅 dust is not from carpenter 嘅 factory 用嗰啲 sawdust 你知冇？佢哋就係喺嗰啲you know our Malaysia forest. Malaysia has one of the oldest. It's not one of the. Malaysia has the oldest rainforest in the world. When a tree is several hundred years old, it has a lot of nutrients inside the wood, correct? And that is why when they cut down the trees to make furniture and everything, all of those sawdust has a lot of nutrients. This is quite a sensitive topic because we over here we don't want to encourage people to cut down trees to burn it to make into sawdust, you know. But then what you're trying to tell you is that you imagine your vegetable that is supposed to be very healthy has all of these nutrients. What more a tree? So sawdust itself has a lot of special components that your plants may need. So this is one. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Try not to touch that. That is chicken manure.
Yeah. This one is chicken manure. I will get there soon. I will get there soon. So now all of these things that you see, they exist naturally. Okay, this is cocoa peat. Cocoa peat, I think 大家喺度你哋都知咯，喺邊度都有嗰個 coconut husk 整嗰個 cocoa peat 出嚟。So all of this natural. So now I want to talk about this thing. This thing is the interesting one. Because this is the thing where most people will be like, 係咪 organic 㗎？粉嚟㗎喎 that kind of things. And then 點解人哋講 organic 就係愛用呢啲 but then like there's a gentleman over here who mentioned that everything you want to do natural. So okay, the thing about organic is on a scientific level, organic means that it must have carbon inside. All of these have carbon, but minerals are not organic. What are minerals? Minerals are basically 一嚿石，佢係用嗰個雨水 over the years 打碎咗，嗰啲就係叫 minerals. Minerals are your magnesium, your zinc, your calcium， 還有什麼啊？molybdenum, iron, all of these so-called trace minerals and all of these things are minerals. Minerals exist in crystal. Then 我哋出去買嗰啲水晶啊、大鏈啊，嗰啲什麼係石股嚟嘅。All the beautiful rocks, all the different colors are because of the different compositions inside. Why some people want to buy ruby because it's red? Then it's high in a particular mineral. Why they want to buy sapphire? Because sapphire is purple, it's high in a type of mineral. So all of these minerals actually come from rocks. And therefore they are not considered as organic. But they are also very important to plant growth because they have parts to furnish the growth. What you're seeing here is called dolomite. Dolomite is from the limestone cave, right? Yes, the dolomite is harvested from the limestone cave, which has
Byproduct of cement product.
you want to talk more about the dolomite, please?
Okay, when we see a rock, it's very difficult for you to get some very pure rocks. So when it's a very pure rocks, it will be like precious stone, diamond, rubies, sapphires. Those are very pure rocks. But if, let's say the cement, when we get this in the rock, inside the rock there are different rocks. So this is like one of it, part of it, which is very high in different components. Yeah.
Okay, I want to invite you all to sit down or either sit on the floor with me or we can talk like that because I'm going to be touching on this for quite some time. You see, earlier when I was talking about microbiology, all the gene-based bacteria and all of these things, what do bacteria eat? Bacteria rely on carbon for food. So all of these things will actually be beneficial for your bacteria. This is for your plants, this is for your bacteria. And one very important thing that you learn today is that plants actually consume bacteria for food. You know, like how we all 我哋人係咪？我哋愛食乜嘢？我哋人係食麵包、食雞、食飯。嗰個雞 is not pure protein， you know， 嗰個雞入邊佢有好多個唔一樣嘅 nutrients。So 你諗下，如果我哋人愛食 complex source of food for our nutrients, doesn't that mean that trees and your vegetables should also be consuming complex food, complex form of food? Complex means it's not just pure carbohydrate. So 我哋喺嗰度咧，先我哋好多人就問：我呢個 leaf 呢度黃喎，我呢個 leaf 呢度有黃色嘅點啊，黑色嘅點啊，咩事啊？佢缺少乜嘢？佢缺少，then after 先我哋 identify 咗話，呢個係 molybdenum deficiency，then 我哋就去淨係買 molybdenum 咁樣擠落去。I wouldn't say it's entirely wrong, but then it's like 一個 baby 你睇住佢唔夠 protein， 你冇淨係買 protein powder 俾佢買啱冇，你係俾佢食 other food that is good in protein. Likewise, the same thing is also happening in the tree. That's why you see in rainforest, they don't have deficiency one. Sometimes they got, but most of the time everything is green. But then 我哋冇買綠，我哋冇買肥料去嗰個 forest 入邊擠嘅喎 but everything is still green. Why? Because inside the soil got all of these components to create a microbes system that all 我哋係人，我哋依家眼係睇到嘅，但係如果我哋用放大嘅，我哋就會睇到入邊有好多個 gene layer. It's a different planet inside where we have different kind of microbes. Okay, I cannot think of microbes name now. You want to name a few?
No need to know too that detail because I'm not doing PhD. But okay, a few classes like lactobacillus, like yeast, like fungi. Yeah.
I'll tell them about the role, like how they eat, and the phosphate solubilizing bacteria and all these things, how they convert some of the minerals for the plant.
This is PhD.
Okay, sorry. Then no need PhD level. We just have a basic understanding. So basically, all of this. So you see 我哋依家眼睇到嘅嘢，我哋依家眼睇到嘅世界，我哋知道狗係食雞嘅，蛇係食老鼠嘅。So there is a prey and there is a predator, right? In our immediate environment. Inside a microbiology world, same thing. There is a lion somewhere, there is a rat somewhere, there is a snake somewhere, and all of that have a particular food that they like. And this is where we say there's a different entire planet inside there. That's why just now I said running your farm is like running an empire and running a forest. It's because of all of these things. All of them have different microbes, and your plants will eat the microbes. Now we understand that 呢啲嘢就係 food for 我哋嘅 gene lay, and 我哋嘅 gene lay is food for the plants. Okay, so I believe I have already convinced everyone here that it's not necessary to use NPK to feed your plants, right? That's why you have microbial fertilizers and all of these things. It's because plants can eat microbes, right? So now we are all on the same page, understanding that plants need microbes. Okay. Now 我哋人 we have food already. 我哋要揾一個地方住，啱冇？ So if you want your soil to have a lot of microbes, you need two things. One is a lot of food. The other one is a lot of place to stay. So you imagine how can you make something from 一塊 空地 to make into a lot of people stay。所以我哋 developer 做乜嘢？起屋咯，乜嘢屋？依家最興嘅 condo 咯，啱冇？不過 in the microbiome population 都有 condo 嘅喎，我哋點樣起 condo？ 就係嗰個，你睇嗰個黑色嘅，如果你咁摸嘅話 touch
What is this?
this is biochar
biochar 碳
燒
過嘅，
biochar，OK， you can touch and see。
燒過未燒過？
燒過咗嘅，所以係 biochar。Biochar is is a byproduct of charcoal production, and the most common form of biochar right now is actually sekam padi bakar, rice husk, your burnt rice husk. Most of for this one 你咁樣睇係咪？你乜嘢都咪黑色咯，黑色一嚿咯。如果你放喺個放大鏡係咪？佢入邊直頭係一個 condominium for microbes，OK？And the condominium for microbes is only for a certain size of the microbes. You know, means 嗰個專呢大嚿啲肥少少，佢就傳到呢個屋咗。呢個係佢大少少就傳到屋咗。It's like 我哋嘅 condo 係屋唔到大運象㗎嘛 ，giraffe 都入唔到㗎嘛。Same thing. This condo is housing a particular size of microbes that is good for your plants.Not PhD level 啊 ，so that is why 我哋依家聽到嘅係呢個好啦，呢個好啦，but actually what is 好 ，what is 唔好 ？There's no such thing of 一個嘢好你就要買好多咁樣放落去，一個嘢唔好你就唔愛買。But if you understand how everything works over here， 你已經可以翻去自己侵嚟咗 ，right？So this is sekam padi bakar, the condominium for Jinlei, then all of these are food for the plants.And then 呢個 now I'm touching on a very important topic 雞屎啱喎，依家三班人喺嗰度講雞屎好啊，雞屎唔好啊，everyone will say 雞屎唔好，或者我放咗落去真係生到好靚喎 ，and then you hear another person telling you a story， 我買咗雞屎我放落去三媽嘢死晒咗 ，what is the logic？ So now we will tell you what is the logic。雞屎都係屎嚟嘅。雞屎、人屎都係屎，狗屎、貓屎都係屎 ，right？ 屎入邊人哋講屎好污糟，點解？因為屎入邊有好多個菌就係專利嘛 ，correct or not？ So do you remember earlier when I said that plants 係食專利嘅 ？So if a plant that is used to eating 專利 it can digest the 雞屎。But if a plant is already conditioned to 唔食專利 which is 頭先我 show 你嗰個 synthetic fertilizer。如果你係用慣嗰啲 crystal NPK 種去咗，你放雞屎，你唔好講放雞屎啦，你喺嗰度屙督尿佢都會死，因為有菌，佢唔識，佢直頭係你一個人，你食慣10幾蚊，你唔食嘢咯。你日日我冇買 KFC 俾你啊！我日日去飯米司買幾罐嘢啊！呢度有30罐咪真，你日日食嗰個咪真。and then one day 我買嚿個 steak 俾你食，你都會死啦，啱冇 ？Because 就係咁樣，human 就係嚟咧，拉就出嚟嘅。So is 雞屎 good or 雞屎 no good? It depends on number one， 你係點樣種菜嘅方法？你係咪用慣 natural method 嚟種嗰個菜 ？Number two， 你嘅 how much 雞屎 you put inside there? Because I said everything.Must have a balance. Don't say the 雞屎. It's not that the 雞屎 is not good, you know. If I put not enough 雞屎and I put too much of the condominium, 都冇用㗎嘛。If everything here has an excess and not in balance, it's also 冇用 one. So that is the. So now after you chum everything already, you can touch. This is actually 呢度深媽嘅嘢，我哋已經侵咗 it will become like that. So you see, when you grab it, it falls apart.This is this kind of consistency that will not choke up the roots and everything。呢堆嘢咧就係我哋呢度三媽嘢侵晒落去咗㗎啦。This one 你掟乜嘢落去都會生。Not because 呢個係一個好泥，but because it is a well-balanced soil that will have everything that your plants need。係呢個係就係三媽 balance 咗咯。So now if you want to go back and take notes or you took photo or everything, I hope that you because 我喺呢度教你哋。你一定要 A B C D E 你先做到菜。We want you to understand how everything works， 所以你可以翻去自己 experiment。 and then we all can exchange knowledge and all of these things. 一個係 compost， 一個係堆肥，一個係堆肥。So let's see. Actually, this one starts to be a bit boring already. Right now, everyone is looking at this. Yeah.
Outside.